We're going to take a look at soil quality from a microscopic perspective. My name is Stewart Wuest, and I'm a soil scientist with the USDA ARS Soil and Water Conservation Research Unit in Adams, Oregon. And my colleague who took my photos for me is Catherine Reardon, who's a soil microbiologist at the same unit. This is what a wind-deposited silt loam soil looks like under a microscope. This soil is typical of the inland Pacific Northwest wheat growing region. In the palm of my hand, I am holding a ruler with millimeter markings and some soil. Here it is under a microscope. You can see dense clusters of aggregated soil particles and some free pieces of quartz and other minerals that are very fine sand or silt sized. If I take the same soil and stir it up in water, then let it settle for a minute, a drop of the dirty water is full of very small silt particles. The soil has very little clay, so the grains look clean, like beach sand. If we sieve out the small particles, we are left with aggregates and partially decomposed plant matter. We call this form of soil organic matter particulate organic matter. Here's the silt and clay that passed through a 53 micron screen. That's a screen about as fine as a tea bag, about 2/1000ths of an inch. Notice the grains look like tiny beach sand. The soil is low in clay, so the surface of the silt grains are pretty clean. But here's the same soil after boiling it in acid. The acid removed the organic matter. The yellowish or brownish color of soil comes from a film of organic matter coating the surface of the mineral particles. That organic matter makes up only about 2% of the soil by weight, but it has a big influence on soil quality. Organic matter is where the nutrients are stored and where microbes attach. It influences aggregation and water holding capacity. The partially decomposed particulate organic matter changes with season and plant growth, but the organic matter stuck to the surface of the silt particles is protected from rapid decomposition and remains for decades and centuries. Here's a soil that formed at the Oregon coast on top of layers of sand. The dark layer on top is where the roots and microbes have been living and leaving behind organic matter for hundreds of years. Organic matter is dark, so more organic matter gives soil a darker color. Organic matter has a big influence on the qualities of soil, and one is on the ability to resist sealing and runoff when it rains. Here are 3 dishes of soil from the same field, but one area of the field had no tillage, so organic matter is concentrated on the surface. The other 2 dishes are soil with some tillage, which diluted the surface soil with deeper soil. Here I have sprayed them with a fine mist. When they dry, the bare tilled soil forms more of a crust. Next rainfall event, the bare tilled soil produces runoff. A significant crust has developed on the bare tilled soil. The layer of residue protected the other dish of tilled soil. The no-till soil has greatly reduced crusting. Over time, no-till develops high organic matter at the surface, and therefore stronger soil aggregates. The combination of no inversion tillage and good amounts of surface residue makes soils pretty close to runoff proof. Here's a close-up view of a plowed soil. The first surface has melted into a thin layer of pudding. The soil particles that were aggregated into clumps have come apart and resettled into a crust. Even though this is a silt loam soil with low clay content, this crust has a very slow water infiltration rate. If you see a shine on soil after a rain, you're seeing water that can't soak in and is exposed to evaporation. Here, the rain totaled 7/10 of an inch over a 4-day period with a maximum rate of 12 hundredths of an inch per hour. This is 4 days after it stopped raining. You can see the high water mark. This field is farmed using inversion tillage. The soil crusted, water ran down and accumulated in the terrace, and just sits there because the surface seal is so tight. I won't say it looks beautiful under a microscope, but these silt grains stuck together with the matter left by centuries of organisms living and dying are where plants thrive to produce food for all terrestrial life.